Good morning, welcome to this morning's jolt, a fresh thought from the Word of God. And just thinking about Sundays as we gather each Sunday to commemorate and to remember and to celebrate the resurrection of Christ. That's really the reason why we come together. We come together and we rejoice in that. In 1 Corinthians 15:42, Paul says, "So is also the resurrection of the dead. It is sown in corruption, it is raised in incorruption." This is the beautiful promise of the Bible to us about life and death, and actually about resurrection. There's one more element to it. And this is beautiful because we have a hope that points beyond death. And it is not a hope made by ourselves, but it is a hope given to us by God. That's amazing. But then there is actually more to it, amazingly. What more could be there than that? But Philippians 3:10, Paul says that I may know him, that is Christ, and the power of his resurrection. That's even more. Like Paul wanted, he was looking for it. I want to know it, he said. I want to be personally acquainted with the reality of his resurrection. God means for us to have more now. God means for us to know the power of his resurrection now. God means for us to know his resurrection, to be personally acquainted, closely acquainted with his resurrection in the now. We can have that now by faith. The resurrection can be living in our lives by faith now. And that's the beauty of it, really. That's so amazing that by faith this can be ours. And in the Old Testament, I actually see a beautiful example of that. In the book of Genesis, the end, chapter 50, verse 25, Joseph said, he made the children of Israel take an oath, swear that God will visit you, and when you go from Egypt, you will carry my bones out of this place. And that was, he had faith. He had faith in resurrection because it was important to him. He had faith that God will take them to Canaan. And he decided to encourage his posterity with the promise that he himself received. That by his faith he would encourage them. He would say, I will not just be dead in the ground, but actually I am looking forward to something that will still come after death. And what an amazing encouragement that is. And think about this. Joseph had such limited revelation compared to us. We have seen Christ rise from the dead. It is in our history. He had not seen that back then, but he had faith based on the promises and the revelation that he had. How much easier it is for us to have that. And it's really so beautiful because it is ours. So how do we live now? We live with hope because of faith. We see resurrection as a reality by faith. And that means that is something awesome. This life is not an end to itself. This life has a greater purpose. It points to something greater. I live this life, but I don't just live this life with a view to the grave. I live this life with a view to resurrection one day, to being in this body with God. That's amazing. We say to people around us, look, there is more to life than living and dying, and the world doesn't believe that. But by faith we have this beauty, just awesome, just beautiful conviction that life is more than that. And then we say to our children one day, or the next generation, bury us, but bury us with hope, because I don't expect to stay there forever. I'm going to be risen and I will live. And that's something amazing because that impacts our day to day. That impacts our lives today. We live differently. We live not with a view to the grave, but with a view to resurrection. God bless your day, and hope to see you soon again.